Okay, well, I am at the trailhead of the Midland to Mackinaw, and I live not too far from it, so it's an easy drive. Had to get some things before I came, some snacks and some drinks. Let's see, I've got 128 ounces of water, something, I forget. Anyways, should be plenty. There is water, but it's right there at the beginning, and I could treat it and all that, but when I get in there, I don't think there's much anything. Sand, dirt, and bugs. So, let's see what else. Oh, I was at Walmart. I went to get $20 in cash out just to have some cash on me, and so I paid with my debit card and did the cashback option and left the $20 right inside the machine, so whoever used it after me got a nice Christmas bonus at the end of June. So, oh well. At least it was only 20. It wasn't like 100. What else? Oh, the DNR stopped as I was packing up my bag, and I asked him if I was alright. I parked here, told him I was doing an overnighter on the trail. He said no problem. He was going to let the Midland County officers know that I was back here and my van is back here, but I'm okay, so it's not that they got to be looking for somebody in the water or anything like that. I don't want anybody freaking out while I'm gone. So that being said, it is something o'clock. Let me see. I don't know what time it is because I don't know where my phone is. It's sometime, so I'm gonna get started and just walk a little bit, and I'll get back with you. Thanks, guys. Bye. Well, when you're starting the trail, the Midland to Mackinaw, you walk down this gravel road. The DNR has access to it. You see it's gated. It's supposed to keep cars and motorcycles and ATVs out. Motorcycles can go around, but they're not supposed to. They do. Anyways, this is the excuse me. This is the Colquhoun River floodplain, as it's called. In recent experience, it gets pretty muddy and flooded back here on the trail when we get to the actual single track. So I don't know how far we'll get. We haven't had any rain in quite a while, so it should be okay. I was out here, for those of you that follow me on Facebook, I was out here a month or two ago, and it was just muddy. It wasn't too bad, so I don't expect it to be flooded out or anything, so, but we'll find out. But anyways, you walk this for a half a mile, and then it starts the single track, and then it's basically just single track and road walk all the way to Mackinaw. What it initially was a trade route for the Native Americans to get their wares to and from Mackinaw City and Mackinaw Island. Eventually, the Boy Scouts have taken over the care of the trail. Boy Scout troops rather, in the area, so they take care of the trail, and one of my friends, Jerry Allen, heads that up, does a great job with it. What else can I tell you about it? Yeah, a couple of years ago, my friend Chris Hillier, who I did the Great Lake to Lake hike and bike thing with, the year before I did it with him, so this would be 2013, he hiked this trail as part of his Belle Isle to Ironwood trail, which has changed names a few times. They used to call it the Governor's Trail. Well, anyways, Chris was the first person to do that. He's also hiked the Appalachian Trail a couple of times, PCT, the CDT, I think also, though I'm not sure. I believe so. Anyways, the man's hiked some 10,000, 12,000 miles in the last 5-6 years, so he's a machine. And I actually met him on this particular trail the first time I was on it, while he was doing that Belle Isle thing, so. Alright, now we are off of the gravel portion of this trail, at least for a little while. So it's kind of overgrown, but this is the start of it, the start of the single track. And you can tell a couple of reasons. Number one, blue blazes on the tree. That one is double marked to let you know that there's a turn, which you just turn and go back down the way I came up. It's pretty obvious. And then got the trail here, which doesn't get used an awful lot. It's not a popular trail, but like I said, it was close. And you can see the Boy Scouts manage it because got the Boy Scout sign there with the archways. And yeah, I'm glad to be out of the sun. So I should be out of the sun for a little while, back into it again, but I've got sunblock and bug spray and stuff for ticks and mosquitoes, and should be all set. So I'm not in a hurry. I usually do about an hour of hiking. I hike a little under 2 miles an hour, about 1.5 miles sometimes. And so when I do an hour of hiking, I go ahead and stop for 10 minutes, get a drink, something to snack on if I'm hungry, and I also take off my prosthetic and my left shoe on my clubbed foot to let them breathe, and take any Tylenol or anything like that I might need. But I'll show you that routine for those who are interested. We'll do that routine once on film, and otherwise we'll just hike and enjoy the day, see what it brings us. See you in a bit. Got a problem already. It doesn't take long usually. I don't have my belt and I can't keep my pants up, so can't go walking around the woods in my underwear. So I'm going to take some of this 550 cord and fashion me a belt. I haven't even cut it yet, so I'm going to fashion me a belt to solve that problem. You'll find that you have everything you need, and when you don't have everything you need, you find some way to do without it, or the trail provides. So you can't pack the kitchen sink. I pack way too heavy. Most of my stuff is too heavy as it is. I'm probably pushing 35 pounds, maybe, yeah, probably at least. And for an overnighter in the summertime, that is way too heavy. But that's what I could afford. So a lot of it is what I could afford, and the cheaper your stuff, the less expensive your stuff, the heavier it is usually. So you pay for shaving ounces, and ounces turns into pounds, and pounds off your back makes your trip easier and quicker. And when you got this guy right here, anything easier and quicker is better. So I'll invest in some better stuff as I can afford it, in preparation for my AT hike in 2022, so, or 23, something like that. I got lots of time. But anyway, I'm going to fashion up a belt, and I'll show you what I came up with. Well, you see around me, this first section's pretty wooded for about, I don't know, 1 mile, 3/4 of a mile. It's all wooded and nice. It's nice to be out of the sun. The bugs aren't too bad, so that's a good bonus. Backpack is a little heavy, so I'm glad I'm only doing an overnighter, because I need to get stronger. I don't do this nearly as much as I would like to, and really the only excuse that I have, I can't fit. The only excuse that I have is, I'm lazy, like everyone else. So, just a normal human being. But if you do this a bunch of times, it gets easier, like anything else, I guess. And I enjoy it. I'd like to do it with somebody else sometime. That'd be kind of cool. I've done it once with a girl I dated. I did the Jordan River Pathway, and that was enjoyable. We had a nice time. So, but she was the only one I ever dated that really liked this kind of thing. She was into it more than me, as a matter of fact. And I need to find that again, because coming out here by yourself all the time is kind of Once you stop moving, you stop eating, you don't have any camp chores to do, and you're just laying in your tent trying to sleep, trying to fall asleep. Yeah, it can get kind of lonely, and if the coyotes and stuff are loud, it get a little scary. I'm not really scared of anything that's out here, but it's always better to have someone else. So yeah, maybe someday, right? We all look for someone that we can share interests with. Anyways, what I'm following, if you can see them, are those blue blazes. I just look up every once in a while and make sure that I'm headed in the right direction. The trails are sometimes pretty well marked. Jerry does a good job on it, but as far as marking the trees, but it doesn't get used that much, so the foot travel markings are almost sometimes non-existent, so gotta really watch it. Look ahead. So, yeah. Alright, I'm back. We're back to where we got on the sandy ORV trail. Because I went to the right, and then I questioned whether I was supposed to go to the right. So I came back to where I started from. The reason I question it is because I didn't see a blue blaze anywhere. And I still don't. So, not having the map is kind of a bummer. One of these ways leads directly back to the parking lot, or to the hard pack that we saw. The other way is the right way, I think. Luckily, I have my phone with my GPS and Google Maps, and this particular ORV trail is on that map. So I'm going to take a break. We'll just do our break here, and I'll pull up that map, and I'll bring you back, and we'll figure out where in the hell we're supposed to go. Otherwise, I guess we're camping right here, because, should really get with Jerry and buy one of those maps, I guess. See you in a minute. Alright, so we're stopped. I just lean my pack up against a tree and sit up against that on the ground if I can't find a stump or something. What I do is, as you see, I take my prosthetic off and my sock, my sweat sock, and my liner. Take all that stuff off, let it breathe. Try not to get bit by mosquitoes or stung by anything. And I also take my shoe off of my good foot, as they call it, because it's clubbed and it takes a lot of abuse. So to save the wear and tear on that, I do that. So I have a Nature Valley roasted mixed nut bar I'm going to eat, and some Powerade, and I'm going to look at the map and figure out where we gotta go, hopefully, and go from there. So that's that. Alright, done from our first break. Had something to eat and drink and some Tylenol. Back and body helps me the most. Anyways, as we were talking about a little bit ago, or just a few seconds ago for you guys, I didn't know where to go once we got on this this ORV trail, and I couldn't find the blue blazes. I didn't remember where they were from when I did it before, but I found it. Just have to sometimes slow down, and it was directly across from it. Slow down and look, they're there if you look for them. I'll let Jerry and his wife Connie take really good care of this stuff, so I knew they were here, the blue blazes, but I couldn't see them. So we're back on track, and yeah, feeling pretty good. It's about, I don't know, 75 degrees, supposed to get down to 49 tonight, so it should be good sleeping weather, and I'm sure I'll be tired, but it's only about 4:30, 4:45. We got lots of time left. I don't have my mounts, so wasn't sure if I could do any action shots of me hiking, so we'll see how that looks when I edit all this and see how it came out, so you guys can see my gait. It ain't the best. What looks like it hurts doesn't feel too bad. So, especially in this sand with this 40-pound backpack. Ouch. Do a lot of catching myself, balance-wise. Anyway, we're back on the sand again. The ORV trail. It does actually follow, the trail follows the ORV trail, but not till the second portion. Which you can see the blue blazes right there. So I was correct, but I was in the wrong portion. I forgot it kind of doubles over. This ORV trail loops through the Midland to Mackinaw trail and then becomes it. So now we're at the point where it becomes it for, I don't know, for a while, I guess. The last time I did this, like I said, I did 4 or 5 miles, something like that, and maybe 6. I don't remember. Anyways, deep into this, and it was ORV trail the whole time, so I'm hoping to push past that, get to a place where I haven't been yet, and then that's where we'll camp, but we'll see. See how the legs hold up. Pretty. Very pretty. So nice out here. And I'm the only one out here. For sure. I did meet a lady when I was out here a couple of months ago who walks this with her sister. Almost every day she was surprised to see a backpacker out here. She said that doesn't happen. Excuse me. She said mostly it's guys on ORVs or people hunting, things like that. Nobody uses it for just purely to walk. And I'm not a hunter. I don't fish either, mostly because I'm terrible at both. But I do love being out here in this scorching hot sun, getting some exercise, being with nature. It's very calming for me. So, in my posts on Facebook, I don't make a real big secret that I have trouble with anxiety. I don't out here. I don't have any trouble with it. So it's home for me, you know, like the old Grizzly Adams TV show from the 70s, early 80s, or Dick Prinicky, who had a cabin in Alaska and lived there basically by himself for 30 years. Those people, you know, those are my heroes, my idols. The guys that when I look at doing this kind of stuff, that's who I think about. Who what's the word? You kind of romanticize about being those people, you know. For me, it's those guys. But yeah, it's very calm out here. And I don't worry too much about the leg. I don't worry too much about getting hurt. I'm not on a bicycle, so I won't fall down. That stuff doesn't really bother me. People know where I am. I have cell service. So even the Michigan DNR knows where I am today. So if I run into trouble, it's not a problem. But I don't worry about that. A lot of people worry about things maybe too much. That's funny coming from somebody with anxiety issues, but I worry about people, what people think, more than my own self. I feel like I can handle myself pretty well in any situation. I'm not expecting a cougar to bite my face off today. You never know. Or anything terrible to happen. What I fully expect will happen is I'll hike for a while. I'll get tired, make camp, make dinner, talk to you guys for a little bit on Facebook with your questions and stuff, and then go to sleep and get up the next morning and hike back and consider it a good day. It's gonna hurt. I'm gonna be sore. I don't want you guys to think that I don't get sore. I do, but it's still gonna be fun. So, and I don't know what angle to hold this stupid camera. So if you got tired of looking at my nose, I don't blame you. But anyway, we're gonna go down that trail for just about ever, and then if I see something nice and nature-like, I'll bring you back. Okay, well, it's getting to be about 7 o'clock, so I've been out here about 3.5 hours. I was gonna hike till 7:30, but I've been trying to find a spot to put up my tent that isn't all sandy, and you know, so my stakes will hold up. But I've been having trouble doing that, so I think I found a spot right here in this opening. It's where I'm gonna put my tent, and I'll film that a little bit. But I'm ready for some food and to be done, so, and to get some more mosquito spray on me. The mosquitoes are terrible out here. Probably the first meal they've had in some time. Anyways, I'll catch up with you in a little bit, and we'll do the dinner chat, and I'll answer your questions. Thanks. Today's dinner, chili mac with beef. Serving, 1 serving. Alright, 3/4 cups of boiling water. So, how much is a cup? 8 ounces? Something like that. That's enough. Doesn't take long to boil, a couple minutes. With that. Hopefully I have enough gas. If I don't, I eat something else. Alright. camped about 150, 200 yards that way. I'm cooking over here, and that is on purpose. I don't want any uninvited guests tonight, especially not of the bear or coyote or that sort of kind anyway. So if you're out hiking or whatever, don't cook by your campsite and don't put food in your tent. It just makes you an invite for dinner, and you are the meal. So that's a little advice. What else? You know, not too much, I guess. We're going to get to the questions in just a second. There's a few of them, which is awesome. Thank you, guys. And we're going to have our chili mac and be done. Speaking of that, she's steaming. That's it. All I need to do is bring it to a boil. Which it is. And then I'll pour it inside this package of freeze-dried chili mac from Mountain House. Let it sit for about 10 minutes and we're good. Alright, so it's time for a question and answer while we wait for our chili mac to cook. I'm going to start with the earliest. Get to my page here. Sorry I have to do it this way. I got to hold the phone, or the camera, while I check my phone. Because I forgot my mounts for the camera, so bear with me and we'll see what happens. Alright. Start with the first one that I got. This is from Ruth, and Ruth asks, how do you get around at night after you've taken your leg off? Well, I used to hop when I was a kid. Again, I've been an amputee all my life, 40 years coming up in August. And so I hopped everywhere. Now I'm getting old and that's exhausting, so a lot of times I scoot on my butt if I don't have to go far, or I just put the leg back on. I try to not have to get up at night if I can help it, and you know, not have to put the leg on, but most of the time 50-50, probably put the leg on or scoot on my butt to the bathroom or something like that. If I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll scoot. If I gotta go to the kitchen to get something to eat, then I'll just put the leg back on and do it that way. So, like I said, I used to hop. I don't anymore, and I don't recommend it. It's hard on the body. Oh, let's see what else we got. Thank you for the question, by the way. Let's see. Chaz wants to know, do you think Tiffany Heckman looks like Alex from Orange is the New Black? Tiffany is my ex-wife, and Alex is from a TV show I've never seen, but Chaz did show a picture of this Alex character on that show, and yeah, I'll definitely say so. They definitely look like they could be twins. Jennifer Lynn wants to know, how am I pain-free? I mentioned in my post that I can hike and do stuff basically pain-free. My normal everyday is pain-free, and I think that has a lot to do with a couple of factors. Number one, like I said before, I've been at this for 40 years. It's almost all I know. My leg was amputated below the knee when I was, I think, like a week old. So, and it was mostly apparently fatty tissue, so not a lot of nerve endings or bone structure really. They basically amputated a foot and not any of the lower bone structure, because that hadn't grown or developed. So I guess that has a lot to do with it. I don't really know. I don't know how my pain level was when I was littler. Not sure. Also, my left foot, my good foot, as I call it, was clubbed, or is clubbed, and was turned almost completely 180 degrees backwards and upside down. So that was broken when I was little, and put in like a Forrest Gump splint, I guess, and I was able to, they were able to straighten it out. So I do have a little bit of trouble with that, with like the scar tissue. The ankle gets a little swollen and a little sore if I've been walking quite a bit. But, yeah, I just kind of manage it with Tylenol and stuff. I don't take anything stronger than that, and I never have that I know of for as far as daily pain. So pretty lucky. What else? Oh, and I'm pretty active. I mean, you guys know. I'm not super active, not as active as I'd like to be, but I'm pretty active, and I believe if you don't use it, you lose it, you know. And if you're able to get past the normal soreness, that's good. If you can't, because your soreness or your pain level is excruciating, just being, you know, just in your everyday life, you know, that's different. Like I said before, I'm lucky I don't have that issue, so I try to use my legs and the rest of my body the best I can. So, hope that answers your question. Yeah, right now it's a little sore. Everything's sore, but not immense pain. What else do we got? Tanya wants to know, do you have a pin lock socket? No, Tanya, I don't. I did try it. Tried it twice and just didn't care for it. My amputation is just barely below the knee, so it keeps me, the pin lock literally locks my knee and doesn't allow me the movement that I need with my suspension system, which is what I use. It's just a suspension sleeve with a roll-on liner, and I put a sock on there, like a wicking sock for moisture, and that's basically the setup I've used my entire life. Pin locks are great for some people. I think if your distal end was longer, that would be a good avenue to go. But mine's short, and like I said, I've tried it a couple of times. I didn't like how it felt, how it locked me in there. I didn't like how it pulled down on the socket. I didn't like anything about it. So I try to remember to try new things, but and give them a chance. But that's not an avenue I would go back down, for me personally. So, but let's see what else we have. We have Ruth has a second question. How do you get around camp after you take your leg off for the evening? I don't. I try to make sure everything that I want to do is done. And what I do is just crawl in my tent, take off my leg, throw it at the foot of my tent, and with my shoes. And that's it. If I need to get up to use the bathroom, of course I get up and put the leg back on. But no, I don't. Once I'm done, I'm done. Especially at camp, where scooting around or hopping around isn't always the easiest thing to do. And after I've hiked all day, I don't really want to put the thing back on anyway, if I can. I've left it on while I'm eating and talking to you guys, because I don't want to put it back on again until tomorrow, once I take it off. So, yeah. So, put the leg back on, basically. It doesn't take that long for me. The only time I don't like to do it is if I've been hiking or walking all day and my stump is all swollen and doesn't want to go back in, you know. But if you gotta go, right? Let's see what else we got. I don't know how good the light is, but I'm just laying in my tent. It's about 8:41. Anyways, John wants to know, what is the roughest terrain you've tried to hike? Also, do you find you need to take off your prosthetic more often when the terrain is rougher, or the rest period about the same no matter the terrain? Good question, man. The roughest terrain I've tried to hike would be Mount Lassen in California, Northern California, when I was living out there last year. Nothing compares to the mountains. Nothing prepares you for the mountains if you've never been in them. Here in Michigan, the roughest terrain was probably the Jordan River pathway in northwest Michigan. I did an overnighter with my girlfriend at the time, and that beat me up pretty bad. I had just gotten the rush foot and I wasn't quite used to it, so I needed to take a lot of breaks. So yeah, if the terrain is rough and I have to go slower, I do tend to take more breaks. Depends on how the terrain is. If it's easy going, you know, I don't have to do it too much. Michigan's mostly flat, so it's not bad. Most of the time in California, when I hiked in the mountains, the trails were good, but it was all elevation. So, you know, hiking at 6,000 feet or whatever is a lot different than 1,100, 1,200, whatever we do here. So most of that was, you know, whether I was in shape or not. But as far as the leg goes, if it's sandy, like it was for this Midland to Mackinaw video that you watched, yeah, I do need to stop a little more. What happens is my stump and my leg swell up and it doesn't fit in the socket anymore, and I can tell it's time to take a break. So, yeah, I just take the opportunity to get something to drink and something to eat, and does me a lot of good. Slows me down. I'm not going to be as fast as most people, but hoping to speed up as I get a little bit better shape. Thanks for the question, man. Sue asked if I was scared by myself in the mountains, in these mountains. I'm actually not in the mountains anymore. I live in Michigan again, and so I'm just kind of in the wilderness, but scared? No, not really scared. It's a little boring, and I've got some natural anxiety, so sometimes my mind can wander, but usually I just fall asleep, and I've never had any trouble being out here by myself or anywhere by myself at all. Yeah, so I just kind of listen to the birds chirp and the animals move around and fall asleep, and then in the morning I'll pack up and do the 3-hour hike back to the van. So, yep. Thanks for the question, Sue. It's getting dark in here, so hopefully you guys can still see me. Allie Rain wants to know, boxers or briefs? Boxers. And something else. Do you sleep without your prosthetic? Yes, I do. I do take it off at night to sleep. Sometimes I nap with it on, and it's very uncomfortable, like a tight pair of dress shoes would feel, maybe. And I also shower without it, so I just stand up on one leg and shower, or I take a bath. So, yep, I'm going to sleep, or when I shower, it's off. Otherwise, it's usually on most of the day. Thanks for the question. Alright, well, I got bored laying in the tent. Once it got dark, I kept thinking about night hiking. I'd never done it before. And I got bored and I couldn't sleep, so I decided to go ahead and hike back to the van. So I did the 5 or 6 miles, whatever it was, in the dark with my headlamp. And then got over that fear. So it actually wasn't too bad. So I felt like I cruised right along. It was certainly cool enough. Bugs weren't bad, and I didn't run into anything dangerous. So, job well done. Anyways, it's about 1:30 in the morning. I got about a half-hour drive home, so I'm gonna hit that. Thanks for watching. Bye.